Hello, welcome. I am so excited. Today we're going to talk about pros and cons of RVing, just some insight about RV life, and why my husband and I decided to stop RVing full time after 2 years of doing it. Today is a very exciting day because after we stopped RVing, this RV camper has been parked in our driveway for about 2 years now, a little over 2 years. I've always had plans to possibly Airbnb it or use it as a guest suite thing for when people come to stay with us, but we just haven't been able to get that all set up yet. But today we actually got an electric hookup, so now we can actually plug in our RV and get full electric. We have just been taking things out as we needed when we moved in, but we never really fully moved out of here and gave it a good clean. So that's what I'm going to be doing today while I chat with you. So to start off, why we started RVing, at the time I had a job where I was working from home. My husband also had a job where he was working from home. And when I got my nursing degree, my dream was to do travel nursing. So when I was working at the hospital, that was always the plan. But then I got a different job opportunity where I could work remotely as a nurse. And I ended up going that route because I just couldn't deal with working at the hospital anymore. So travel nursing never really worked out, but once I realized, I was like, wait a minute, I am working from home. My husband is also working from home. Why not we just start traveling this way? So yeah, I brought up the idea to him, and I remember being like, would you ever consider living in an RV? And he was like, yes, but would you ever live in an RV? We just started researching things about living in an RV, working from an RV. My family never RV'd, and my husband's family, I think they had his grandfather maybe had a camper. A few of his family members had campers, but he was never really exposed to them where you're spending a whole summer in them or vacationing in them. So the idea of RV life was completely new to us. But I don't know, we were just kind of in this phase of life where something had to give. We were both super stressed at our jobs. We were currently living in Dallas, Texas at the time, but it was June and we had been there for 6 months and it was 100+ degrees every single day. I just remember even at 11 p.m. it would be 99 degrees out, and I was like, I can't live like this. I'm okay with heat during the day, but I need relief in the mornings, in the evenings, where you can go outside, you can go for a walk, just have that little bit of relief to get outside and in nature. And we were not getting that. So I think truly the heat snapped something in us. We were just we're doing this. We're getting an RV, we're selling our sedan, we're buying a truck, and we're hitting the road. And that's what we did. And so we hit the road. We had these big dreams of being out in nature more, going to national parks, maybe go paddleboarding, maybe go for a hike. And also we love to explore different places. So this would allow us to explore different towns and cities, restaurants, new food, new coffee shops. We were so excited. So another reason why we wanted to RV is because we were at a point where we wanted to buy a house. It was post-COVID. The market was insane everywhere. And we had family kind of all spread out along the East Coast, some Midwest, and we also have friends that are spread out all across the country. So we kind of took this opportunity to be if we really could live wherever we want to live, why not go to these places, spend anywhere from 2 weeks to a month in these areas that we were considering buying a house in or living, and then that way we could get a real feel for a place instead of just staying there for a weekend with friends. So we did go into RVing with the intention of okay, let's do this we wanted to do at least 2 years, but we really didn't know how long we would like it for or wanted to keep doing it. We were if we do it for 5 years, if we do it for 10 years, who knows? But we did want to do it for at least 2 years to do all the things I just talked about. And that's what we did. And yeah, we set up our RV at our family's place in Kansas, and we decided to do that for a month. I think actually we had planned to do it for 2 weeks, but they were so gracious. They were like, you guys can stay for however long you want. And so we just decided to do a month there to kind of like decompress and figure out exactly how the RV worked before we had to pack it up, drive somewhere else, set up again. We just really wanted to just learn all the ins and outs. And then also, you know, we're still working full time Monday through Friday, and we wanted to spend time with family. So we spent a month in Kansas doing that, and I think that was huge. So if you're thinking about RVing, I think, and you've never done it before, I would definitely recommend your first destination just being somewhere that's a little bit longer of a time period and where you can just learn the ins and outs of your RV. And so that actually leads me into one of my first pros about RVing, which I didn't really see coming, was that when you're in an RV and you're able to park on family or friends' land or property, or even their driveway, we found that we were able to stay there. Like I said, we were planning on doing like 2 weeks, and they were like, you can stay for however long you need. Normally, I would never want to impose on someone like that. Like, even if they are good family, good friends, I just feel like when you're on top of someone's space like that for a long amount of time, it just can get difficult. It's just a lot. But because we were in the RV, we were parked right next to their house. And so at night, we would retreat back to the RV. During the day, we would still work from the RV. Sometimes we would work from in their house. But even in the afternoons, maybe we took a nap, we came back here. We had this space that was our space to retreat back to, and then it also allowed them to have their alone time. And I just feel like it was amazing, because during an extended amount of time like that, it was just so nice that we could come back here if we needed to or wanted to, and they didn't feel like they had to keep entertaining us or, you know, making sure we're accommodated for and things like that. So it just really allowed this super relaxed visit. That was one of the best things that came out of RVing, from my experience at least. It was just so nice. The adults would have coffee in the morning and just sort of chill and kind of ease into the day, and then we would start our work days, and then but like the kids, it was during the summertime, so the kids were home, so we would be able to like bop in and just kind of hang out with them for a little bit and have lunch with them, and you know, we would play games, watch movies, do all these things, be outside playing with them. But it just didn't have that like added pressure of, okay, we're here for 3 days, we got to do this, this, and this, or it's the holidays, we're busy cooking, we're busy cleaning, you know, everyone's on top of each other. Like, it was just such a relaxed experience. And I just felt, especially me, we were visiting Ethan's side of the family, felt like I was really able to develop deeper relationships with so many of his family members. I got to those like deeper conversations. So yeah, it just really allowed us to spend like true quality time with family and friends. Okay, getting steamy. Okay, had to make sure I was recording. Another top thing that I loved about RVing is that I felt like we were able to explore so many areas of the country that I normally probably would not have explored without RVing. And I think that kind of happened because of two big things, because sometimes when we were just going from one destination to the next, if it was a really long drive, we would try and find somewhere in the middle. And because we were both working full time still, we weren't traveling like, you know, every 3 to 5 days, even every week. We stayed in a place at least for 2 weeks, because if we were even going every week somewhere, like let's say, okay, we traveled on Saturday, Sunday, and then we would work Monday through Friday, and then if we were going to a new place, we would have to travel again on Saturday and Sunday. So we were never like enjoying a weekend in one place. So yeah, we always did at least 2 weeks at each place. But we really tried to do a month, because also once we started getting into it, we realized it is a lot to pack up, then to travel, and then to set everything back up again. And also because you usually get a deal if you book a monthly rate at a place. So yeah, if we were going from one spot to the next, we would try and find somewhere in the middle or just on the way that would cut down the drives. And so a lot of times it would just be like places that we just, I don't know, we normally wouldn't drop a pin and visit this place. So we got to explore a lot of like off the beaten path areas. And I feel like Ethan and I are really good at just making the most of anywhere we are. Like we will find restaurants, find things to do. We will find nature trails. We don't need like huge cities. We're going to take the smallest towns and make the most of them for sure. And the second driving factor of like why we went to these places that normally maybe we wouldn't have gone to is because we learned with RVing, especially because we wanted to stay at places for 2 to 4 weeks, you have to book way in advance to a lot of places. Not all places, but like the super top destination areas, you know, national parks and just like the nicer RV parks, just those top visited places, they fill up very fast. And so once we kind of got in the swing of things, I would say we were booking places 2 to 4 months in advance. If you wanted like top places, you'd have to book like 6 months to a year in advance. Some of them we just didn't even bother. But those were for other reasons too, which I'll get into. But yeah, so a lot of the places that were left with open availability were the not so sought after places. So we would end up going there. And yeah, like some of them were just so amazing. A lot of them were state parks. And there are so many beautiful, well-kept, well-maintained state parks. We would be able to hook up our RV there, stay for an extended amount of time. It would just like be on the quieter side. You're out in nature. A lot of them had nature trails. You could walk right there. Yeah, they were just really, really beautiful. And a lot of them also had access to water, or so like we could either go swimming or paddle boarding, kayaking. They would have tennis courts, and we have a couple rackets and balls. So there were just a lot of like amenities at these state parks. And yeah, so because we were staying in those state parks, we just got to enjoy all of that. But yeah, so thinking back on that kind of leads me into why we didn't stay at some of those like top rated places, which I don't even know if I would call it like a con or a negative. It was just the reality of RVing and also just our specific situation. So again, when we started, we really had these like high dreams and hopes that we would just be going to national parks and we would be able to park our RV on a coastal beach somewhere or out in the woods, in the mountains. And that wasn't the case for a couple of reasons. One, what I just said, they book up really fast. So a lot of national parks, they only have so many spots for RVs that have like electric, water, sewer hookups. Many of them actually didn't even have water or sewer. They were just electric hookups. So a lot of them filled up really fast. But on top of it, we realized really quickly with our situation, because we were working full-time still, we absolutely need electric hookups and we needed really good Wi-Fi. So we couldn't exactly just kind of like post up somewhere and kind of live that off-grid RV life. We had Starlink internet, which was incredible. And we did have a little bit of solar, but like not enough for what we needed. So essentially we were always dependent on, okay, we absolutely need an electric hookup and we need a place where we can get really good internet. And we needed a place where we could stay for 2 to 4 weeks at a time. So our reality of RV life kind of shifted, but we definitely adjusted fine to it. Like I said, we discovered a lot of these state parks and nature-filled alternatives to national parks. And also, we got a diesel truck when we bought a truck in the RV, and this was post-COVID. Gas prices were through the roof. Diesel prices were astronomical. So to get from one place to the next, it was just costing us so much money. And a huge reason we did the RV life is because we wanted to save money. So that was kind of stressful. And also the traveling itself was also kind of stressful. We also had 2 cats at the time. We have 3 now. But we had 2 cats with us at the time, and yeah, they didn't exactly thrive when we would travel with them in the truck. They definitely tolerated it fine enough, so we also had to be mindful of that. Even if Ethan and I were fine to keep driving, 12 hours in a day, we wouldn't want to do that to the cats. So yeah, when we RV'd, like, we didn't even make it. I wanted to go to the Pacific North. I mean, so did my husband. We wanted to go to the Pacific Northwest. We wanted to do California. We wanted to do all of it. We made it as far west as Phoenix, and we did go as far north as the Upper Peninsula in Michigan, and we made it as far south as Tampa, Florida, and we kind of did stuff all around there, but like we didn't even do, that entire other side of the country, just because there were just so many factors involved that just didn't really allow for us to just pick up and drive and go. So yeah, even though now we are stationary, we have a home, we still do have the RV, and I'm so excited because I'm thinking I'm going to start using it to record my videos for YouTube, because right now I don't really have a dedicated space in our house to do that, so it gets a little difficult. And we can always take this back out on the road anytime we want. And yeah, I'm also kind of envisioning making it a really cute like guest suite for when people come to visit us, because right now we also don't have an extra guest bedroom. So overall, I definitely don't regret RVing. There's like very few things in my life that I don't know, I can't even think of anything that I like regret, because you always learn something. No regrets. And yeah, we eventually just decided to call it quits because yeah, all those factors I just talked about, I still very much enjoyed our experiences. But yeah, we lived it out. I feel like I was getting to the point where I just didn't want to like travel and pack and move every few weeks, even to a month. I really wanted like a grounded space. And overall, one of the goals was to find an area where we could put down some roots and buy a home. And we did do that. In our journey, we found a city that we just really kind of fell in love with, and we were able to tour some houses and put in an offer and get the house. And so then we said, okay, that's it for the RV life for now. So yeah, if you are feeling a pull to RV or really do anything in your life, I really encourage you to just try it out. Nothing has to be forever, nothing has to be permanent, and just see where it goes. So if you have any other questions about RV life or just anything you're curious about, anything I've said, please drop a comment. I really want this YouTube channel to be a conversation. Like, I love sharing my life experiences and advice and insights to people, but mostly just to help people. I love when people have questions about things or they're looking to me for advice or something and I can offer them insight. It just makes me so happy. So yeah, I will ramble on about anything if I feel I'm helping someone. Okay, well, I'm gonna get back to cleaning. I hope this was helpful. Please like and subscribe if you like this video, if you want more of my content. It really helps my channel out, especially when I'm in this little baby growing stage. So, okay, well, thanks so much and hope you have a great day.